Right, folks, I'm the roundup, end-up storyline. So I'm going to keep you for about an hour summarising what happened today. So can I start by saying Owen has told me that on YouTube you will have videos of all the papers today. So we had a long day of great sessions, so they'll all be there. My name is Pat Brereton. I'm the sort of co-director of the centre with Dermot and Dave, my colleagues. And I hope you've had a good day, but lots of challenging stuff. I'm just sort of picking up on a few things. Owen Dalton was phenomenal, rewilding. He certainly is a Renaissance man. A few things I picked up on. 80% of Irish land was in forestry before, and now we have so little. So how the forestry issue is so critical. Killarney National Park, is it that bad? I didn't know that. That was quite in a terrible state. So it is in a terrible state. He talked a bit about, and it was a theme, I think, throughout the day, this biophilia, which I'm a film scholar, so I'm very into the love of nature and how film and media represents that. But everyone was talking about this need for the love of nature and how we can turn this island, and how we have turned this island into a big farm, as Owen said, with no space for nature, this sort of tension that's been there. And we need the hope of rewilding. I take lots of notes. So he talked about the 3 C's of rewilding: core, corridor, and carnivore. Didn't know that. So many benefits of rewilding. So Owen was really good and took lots of questions, and you'll hear his if some of you weren't here this morning, you're in for a treat when you sort of watch it on YouTube. Then we had our media session, which is something that I'm very involved in. I'm a communications scholar, so I'm interested in how media represents the environmental issues. So the need for focusing on solutions and how to tell the story effectively, that's a key aspect we keep going on about. The speakers were all looking at it from very different ways, and we talk a lot about climate change, but the sort of the opposite, or the connecting area of biodiversity loss is often forgotten about. Kevin O'Sullivan hit us from the Irish Times, hit us with land use plan. And that's a really interesting theme that fed into our keynote that we'll talk about in a minute. On the policy section, very, very wide-ranging again, looking at psychology and behaviour, looking at transport. A third to a quarter of all species in Ireland are threatened by extinction. I mean, shame on us. I mean, that's phenomenal stuff. The policy and the need to be open, inclusive and transparent, and how to sort of get those tensions there is something that policy is really important. And then we had Minister Ryan, who we had to change a little bit because of timetables, but again, he started in the biophilic mode of storytelling and going back to his childhood and trying to how his commitment to sort of nature began at a very early age. He's a sort of a politician who doesn't like conflict, which is interesting, but how to deal with conflict and how to avoid this urban-rural debate. Some of you will know I've written a piece on zombie movies and farming. So that's how much I know about farming. I'm from a farming background myself, and I see that as one of the biggest tensions we have in Ireland, especially from this biodiversity debate, how to sort of bring farmers along. And Eamon talked a lot about that they need to be at the frontier of sort of finding solutions and not just demonised. And that's difficult, to say the least. So Eamon, lots of issues that Eamon talked about, and I'm sure you'll hear more about them later on. But quickly then moving on to the corporate sort of paper that we've just seen. And again, I'm very interested in Bord na Móna because I come from near there. I'm a biffo. I'm from Offaly. Have we any Offaly people? So again, this notion of how brown to green can be seen a bit of greenwashing, but how we deal with that tension or how we deal with issues around bogland, and that's become a huge issue in lots of areas. The tone of how to use risk management, using metrics, and corporates are very interested in metrics for some reason. That's what drives them. Lots of acronyms, LEAF, and changing standards. and measuring. But as we say in our centre, we need to bring everyone to the table. So business is part of this solution, is part of the sort of finding solutions. So sustainable finance, we heard a lot about the toolbox and how to develop the toolbox, and how to create an EU green taxonomy. Great fun. Sustainable activity. Sort of how to make biodiversity more geospatial. Wow, there's a term. Coming up with more KPIs, performance indicators that could bring biodiversity more into the debate on climate change. And so different sort of debates and different issues, and there's so much going on in so many different areas. I certainly couldn't pick up on all the sort of debates, but I have loads of notes, and please watch the videos which will be going on our website fairly shortly. But it just falls to me to sort of thank everyone to be here for such a long day, and I hope you've got a lot from it. As you'll know from our last year's conference, we do encourage dialogue, not preaching, trying to find ways of connecting across a range of discipline areas, a range of debates and a range of issues. If we can do that, we will help the biodiversity. So that's the end. So thank you for coming, and hope you'll look to us in the centre and come next year when we have our next conference. Thank you very much.